Well, greetings, Ames Chamber of Commerce members. Dan Callahan here at the Ames Chamber, uh, getting ready to kick off the 2021 uh, Iowa legislative session. And joining me today is newly elected State Senator Jesse Green of Senate District 24. Jesse, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dan.
We've got a short series of questions we're going to go through. This is a great way to educate our members on what the intentions and the hopes and wishes are of our elected officials as they head to Des Moines after the first of the year. But first and foremost, talk a little bit about this experience for you. You are a newly elected state senator. As you were telling me a while ago, this is your first time in elected office. So how about a little perspective?
Yeah, so where to start? Just a couple days ago, I had a birthday, and I was thinking back to a year ago at this time. I never dreamt a year ago that I'd be in this situation. I didn't think about this until about February, about running. When Jerry, the previous senator, Jerry Bain, when he retired, some people were talking about it, and I heard about it, and but just didn't think too much of it. And my county supervisor, he sent me a text message. He's like, "What are you waiting for?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But he saw in my 20s how I served at the Dayton Rodeo. One of my life philosophies has always been give back to the things that you love, that has brought you joy. And if you literally live every moment of your life with that mindset, how can you regret anything that you do, anyway, so that's what guided my decisions in my 20s. I served on the Webster County Farm Bureau. I thought it was a way to kind of get off my little island in the farm world and get engaged with neighbors. And I spent 6 years at the Dayton Rodeo. It's the third largest rodeo in Iowa. We saw our committee was very active, and we saw tremendous growth during those years. And the last few years, I've been studying, I never had the opportunity to go to college out of high school. I came home and farmed and helped the family. And a few years ago, I started taking Bible classes through Emmaus Bible College, and ultimately started teaching Bible at my private school that I went to when I was a child, because it meant so much to me as a child. And then here we are. We fast forward to now, and Iowa has brought me so much joy. I love Iowa. Whenever I go on vacation, I can't wait to come home. And Iowa is my home. So,
well, thanks for agreeing to serve, and congratulations on being elected to the state senate.
Thank you.
These are really for our members to become more knowledgeable on what's coming up in the upcoming session. As you look at your first legislative session, what should Ames Chamber of Commerce members expect to occur in the 2021 session, in your estimation?
Well, Iowa's ranked number 1 to come out of the COVID situation in the strongest fiscal position in the nation. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to have challenges. I think there's going to be some tough conversations that are going to be happening. I'm not on the education committee, but take, for example, that committee. That's going to be hard. Everybody's educating in different ways, a lot more homeschooling, and how we fund schooling is going to be a hot topic. School choice has been talked about for quite a while. I would assume that's going to be front and center in the conversation, because this is the strongest Republican trifecta we've had, I believe, since 1958. And I think the conversation on just talking about percentages of education, a 1% increase in SSA or a 3% increase in SSA, of course, that's going to be part of the main conversation, but it's going to be a lot more than that, I suspect. We all realize that I think tort reform is going to be something that's going to be looked at. Last year they passed tort reform, and that came out of the Senate and didn't go through the House. I'm sure that's going to get brought back up. Now we just came out of an election. I think there's some election law things that will be talked about. Uniformity and how we do recounts is an issue that I've heard a lot. I've heard from county auditors how they would like the election to end an hour sooner than the way we currently do. And do you want me to keep going down that track
No,
or
I think that's a good start. It sounds like you'll have a full plate as you head into your first legislative session.
I can keep going, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
and I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to probably answer all the questions with the comments you'd like to make. As you look at it personally, what are some personal aspirations as you head into your first session going down to the state capitol?
well, due to my background in farming, we also have a lot of pasture ground on the river, and we love enjoying the natural resources that we have. Those are two things that I'm going to be bringing to the table, perspectives. There's for the most part, I've realized that I've got a lot to learn here, and my priority is to learn, and it's to soak in what's how the process works, how things work. Um, I just read my first bill 3 months ago, uh, so anyway, but I think right from my perspective, and I don't want to project my worldview on everybody else, but I do firmly believe in some sort of school choice. There's so many different ways of going about it. I think there's a right way to do it so that you don't pin public versus private versus homeschool. We all want quality education, and we all want teachers to be paid well. We all want good facilities and safe places for our kids to learn. Nobody disagrees with that, and so I'm going to be tender entering into those conversations, but that is my perspective. That I think there's something that we need to do with that. With natural resources, our hunting licenses have dropped significantly since 1970. I think it's close to 50% drop in hunting licenses. In my worldview, it's why do we keep buying so much land? Why does the state keep buying so much land for hunting when common sense would tell you if you're running a business and you lose half your clients, you don't build on your building. And so I'd like to just make our lands better. I don't want to cut their budget, but I want to make our lands better, more accessible, open it up more for out-of-state licenses. And with that increase in revenue, if we can maybe cheapen the licenses and get more people active in enjoying our natural resources, then maybe let's talk about buying more land. So, but anyway, those are some personal things. But
I appreciate your comment about having a lot to learn going into the session. I would liken it to probably drinking through a fire hose. I can't imagine how daunting those first couple of weeks will be for anyone who's newly elected to elective office. It's got to be challenging, but it sounds like you're eager and anxious and you're up to the challenge.
yeah,
There's a wide variety of priorities for the Chamber of Commerce has put forward, and I share those with you. But I would point to two in particular that I'd like you to talk about a little bit, if you would. Certainly with the closures, people working from home over the last 10 months, broadband has been front and center. Connectivity has been front and center. Do you see a role for the Iowa legislature and you personally? Do you have any passion for broadband deployment and greater activity as it relates to that in the upcoming session?
yeah. Well, this is I like this issue because from what I can tell, it's a bipartisan issue. We see a need here, and we desperately COVID's definitely brought about how desperate we need broadband everywhere. In my particular district in Senate 24, there's only a few pockets that are left that needs dressed up, and I've talked to both my representatives and Representative Phil Thompson's going to be chair of economic development, and he kind of filled me in the other day about he thought our roles were pretty close to needing to hit the ground and talk to the telephone cooperatives and see who helped guide them through the grant process. Through the CARES money, the state got quite a bit of money to go towards broadband. And for example, in my neck of the woods, I live in a pretty rural district where I've had fiber for 12 years, and the cooperative went out and did it the old-fashioned way where they got a loan, and this year is the last year they're going to make a payment on that loan. But with the CARES money, they got $1 million to finish up my neck of the woods up by Otho and Colville. And So I'm excited about the progress that I think is going to happen. I think my job personally is going to be to have those conversations with the cooperatives, get familiar with the grants, and help walk them through it and see if we can get the job done.
Yeah, 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 that's the beauty of Iowa. We've got a lot of terrific independent telcos around the state that I think are eager to invest and partner and collaborate with a wide variety of efforts. And so I'm encouraged going into the session that we'll see some movement on broadband activities. Governor Reynolds has been a proponent of Invest in Iowa, Invest in Iowa initiative. As an organization, we feel like that's a real quality of life enhancer as we're trying to attract more people. Similar to broadband, the more we can do to enhance quality of life, it's critically important to our communities. Can you give me a perspective on Invest in Iowa and how you see that going forward in the 21 session?
Yeah, well, I completely and I'm 99% supportive of I will. I just told you about how I'm sensitive with the DNR and buying land. I want to see specifically how those monies can be spent through the natural resources. But that's my only caution. And again, I just need to learn and I need to sift through how the money is going to be allocated. But from the 30,000 foot view, I support I will or Invest in Iowa. I naturally am more supportive of sales tax and income and property, so I like that. And I like getting the money that's going to go towards mental health and get it off property taxes and make it a part of the general fund. That's going to be a significant step in the right direction. And so you won't see me being too much of a stumbling block on that.
Yeah, very good. Here in Ames, Iowa State University is, we often liken ourselves to being a company town. That company's Iowa State. But at the same time, Des Moines Area Community College has a presence here. DMAC's an important economic development partner too, and even K-12. So there's plenty of conversation around education. And certainly at the state legislature, as you mentioned earlier, education will garner a lot of attention. How do you see education faring as it relates to funding going into the 21 session?
Well, as far as Iowa State or the regents go, I think last year they had a $7 or $8 million de-appropriation, and we had to do that to be fiscally responsible. So, now that the situation is not as bad as we initially thought it was going to be with our revenues, I would imagine that those conversations aren't going to be as tough this year.
Okay.
From the 30,000 foot view, I met with Iowa Central the other day, and I'm kind of, when I look at that per pupil spending, I'm kind of shocked how much that like Iowa State gets versus like Iowa Central Community College, and but of course I'm looking at my first page of breaking down the numbers, and so again I need to do my due diligence to understand where that money's going and why. But I love our community colleges. My stepbrother, he teaches at Iowa Central, and so I see how vital the community colleges are to our economic development here in Fort Dodge and in Central Iowa, and I appreciate them so much. So
yeah, you hit it there on the head. The community colleges are great partners to industry and businesses of all kinds, and so we need to make sure that they're well funded, and as well as the rest of the institutions that are all at the table in the 21 session. Here's an easy one for you, probably, Senator. It's just kind of an opinion. Ames and Story County Day at the Capitol is slated for April 1st. Do you think we will hold that in person like we have in years past? We missed 2020 because of the pandemic, but do you think, in your own estimation, that we will be able to hold that in person on April 1?
Well, if I could make an accurate guess on this, I probably wouldn't be in the Senate, and I'd probably have a private island somewhere. So, but I suspect that things are going to return to normal at some point within session. The vaccine's coming out. I think I think we know how to adapt and adjust to help things run smoothly at the Capitol. I guess personally, I've only been to the Capitol 3 times in my life, so I don't know what normal looks like. This year is going to be my first normal. I just know that within the chambers, there's just going to be some slight adjustments, and some of the adjustments that they made during COVID, like with committee meetings, I guess it was a big improvement in some ways, how they change, and so you might see some permanent changes with that. But
Sure,
um,
sure.
yeah,
Well, we hope.
I think we'll be seeing each other. So.
Good. I hope so. We hope that if it's reasonable for everybody, we can resume that, because it's always fun filling the state capitol with the smell of Hickory Park. We feed and water a lot of folks through that day at the Capitol, and it's a whole lot of fun. As we enter the session, Senator, I know this is your first go around, but what's the best way for our members to connect with you as you think about going down to the State House? What's going to be the best way for people to reach out to you and get their messages to you?
I'm still adjusting to the new email life, but that, of course, with my legislative email, that's fine. But I still don't have a problem people texting me or calling me. My number is 515-351-9761, and feel free to text me or email me, and I'll get back to you.
Very good. We've got a few minutes left here, I guess. Any final thoughts as you are on the cusp of starting out as a new state senator?
Well, it's just such a humbling honor to be in this situation. I hitting the campaign trail this year. It just everything was new, and what I valued the most was those personal interactions with people. I think people are craving that interaction, and through those interactions, we were able to have some sensitive conversations in a healthy way, and I appreciated that so much, because we're more connected. We're supposed to be more connected than ever before, but if we don't have those face-to-face conversations, you eliminate the human factor, and that's the most important factor. So I can't wait. We had freshman orientation the other day, and so all the Democrats and Republicans came together, and I just love that so much, that interaction, because I can't wait to see other people's perspectives, the different personalities, the different talents, the different, just how different people think. I just love that, and investigating that. And so that's what I look forward to. I look forward to serving. The best moments of my life, the highest moments of my life, has always been when I'm serving, and so this is going to be an amazing opportunity. So.
Indeed, this is your opportunity. Well, listen, Senator, I certainly appreciate your time today. I wish you well for your first session, the 2021 Iowa legislative session, and let us know how we can be helpful to you. And you'll certainly hear from us from time to time as well. And so that wraps up our session with Senate District 24, Senator Jesse Green. Jesse, all the best for a great 21 session.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.